In this video, we will explain in detail the meaning of the E7 error in different air conditioner brands, as well as the possible causes and solutions. It is important to note that this code does not have a single universal meaning, as it varies depending on the manufacturer and the model of the unit. However, in most cases, the E7 error is related to mold conflicts, communication problems between the indoor and outdoor units, electronic failures, or faults in sensors and fans. Meaning mold conflict. The E7 error can appear when the indoor unit and the outdoor unit are not synchronized in the same operating mode. A common example is when the outdoor unit is in heating mode while the indoor unit remains in cooling mode. This contradiction causes the system to lock as a protection measure. This problem is known in some brands as a mode conflict. Initial recommended solution: restart the air conditioner by disconnecting it from the power supply for a few minutes, then turn it back on. If the error disappears, it was likely a temporary synchronization problem. If it persists, other aspects must be checked. Recommended actions in this case: A. Check the communication between the indoor and outdoor unit terminals. B. Verify the electrical cables connected from the indoor unit to the outdoor unit. C. Check if the communication or signal cable is disconnected, loose, or damaged. D. Set the air conditioner to a single operating mode, either cooling or heating, avoiding simultaneous use of both modes. This type of error is common in brands such as Carrier, Samsung, Trane, Gree, Godrej, and Media. In some modern models, the control board includes protection systems that automatically detect mode conflicts and stop the equipment to prevent compressor overload. E7 error due to communication problems. In other cases, the E7 error occurs due to communication failures between the indoor and outdoor units. Generally, this problem happens when there is a wiring interruption, failures in the electronic boards, or incorrect configuration in the control modules. This scenario is common in brands such as Haier, York, and Media. Suggested troubleshooting steps: A. Disconnect the unit from the power supply and wait about 10 minutes before restarting it. B. Check the communication cable connections between the indoor and outdoor units, ensuring there are no loose or damaged connections. C. Inspect the entire wiring, releasing the cables one by one to check their physical condition. If damage, burns, or poor contacts are detected, replace them with new cables. A common symptom in this case is that the error appears intermittently, which may indicate a poor contact in the communication cable. D. If the problem persists, check the condition of the electronic boards. If visible damage is found, they will need to be replaced. E. If the unit powers on for a few seconds, use a multimeter on the DC voltage scale to measure the communication signal. Place the black probe on the neutral line connection and the red probe on the signal cable connection. The multimeter reading should fluctuate between different voltage values. If the voltage does not change, this indicates a true failure in the communication circuit. F. With the unit disconnected, check the resistance values, diodes, and optocouplers associated with the communication system. Other specific meanings of the E7 error by brand. Depending on the manufacturer, the E7 code may vary in interpretation. Below is a list of the most common ones. Electrolux, portable units, indicates a fault in the indoor motor. Panasonic means that the outdoor unit has sent a failure signal to the indoor unit. Westinghouse, Daikin, and Mabe indicates problems in the outdoor unit fan. In this last case, the technical diagnosis states, the E7 error indicates that the speed of the outdoor unit fan is outside normal parameters. Recommended actions: A. Check the fan motor and the associated control board. B. Clean the fan and ensure there are no obstructions. Verify that the motor shaft rotates freely. C. If the fan uses a capacitor, test it with another of similar value and replace it if defective. D. If the fan motor is controlled by an Intelligent Power Module, IPM, check the condition of this module, as a fault in this component can also generate the error. In TCL, AUX, Axon, Fujitsu, Mirage, and some Midea models, the E7 error is related to a defective or improperly connected temperature sensor in the outdoor unit. Specifically, for TCL models, it refers to the sensor located near the protective grille of the outdoor coil, responsible for measuring the temperature of the outdoor air drawn in by the fan. This sensor is key because it helps the system calculate the average outdoor ambient temperature, and when it fails, the unit cannot operate properly. Additionally, the outdoor unit has two other temperature sensors. The sensor located on the compressor discharge line, or thin pipe, which measures the temperature of the freshly compressed refrigerant, and the sensor located on the condenser coil pipe, which measures the temperature of the refrigerant inside that part of the system. It is advisable to check the condition of all these sensors because a malfunction in any of them can trigger the E7 code. Steps to solve the E7 error code. Turn off the unit, disconnect it from power for a few minutes, and turn it back on. If the error reappears, check the physical condition of the sensor and its connections. Verify that the temperature sensor connector is properly inserted into the electronic board. With the unit powered off, measure the resistance values of the sensor using a multimeter. Set the multimeter to the kilo-ohm scale. Place the probes on the sensor terminals. The value should not be 0 or infinity. If you have the air conditioner's maintenance manual, compare the measured value in kilo-ohms with the reference table according to the ambient temperature indicated in the manual. If the sensor shows incorrect values, replace it. Inspect the fan and outdoor coil to ensure proper airflow. If replacing the sensor does not solve the issue, the problem is likely on the outdoor unit's electronic board, which should be checked for damaged components, burnt tracks, or cold solder joints. If the unit powers on for a few seconds with the sensor connected to the outdoor electronic board and the multimeter set to the DC voltage scale, insert the probes into the connector. The reading should be close to 2.5 volts DC.